The adjournment motion that has been moved by Honorable Sarah Korere, the Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, last week while you were away on other parliamentary business, there was an adjournment motion that was sought by Honorable Dr. James Nyikal. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, he stood under, I think, Standing Order 33, where a member could stand on his feet and bring a motion on matter of national importance, just like Honorable Korere has done. Mr. Speaker, his motion was in relation to the strike of doctors, the ongoing national strike of doctors and medical staff, Mr. Speaker. But looks like, Mr. Speaker, he was not granted an opportunity to discuss the matter in spite of him having the requisite support in the House. Mr. Speaker, I would like to seek your indulgence to clarify on that matter, because that matter is also likewise a very, very important matter of national importance, Mr. Speaker. So we could not conclusively agree on the way forward on that day, and we left it hanging, knowing very well that on Tuesday, God willing, the Speaker will be back, and we will get better clarification than what we went with home that day, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, this matter of national importance, as you know, are seasonal. A matter might be of national importance today, and it ends up becoming tonight a matter of county importance or non-important, Mr. Speaker. And as you are aware, Mr. Speaker, this doctor strike and medical personnel strike has been going on for the last almost now a month, Mr. Speaker, without any solution. And this House is the House that deals with the matters of concern to the people, Mr. Speaker. Because if we don't discuss those kind of issues on the floor of this House...
You are now debating instead of raising a point of order.
So, Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I seek your clarification on whether Honorable Nyikal's adjournment motion was part of, was not done procedurally or was gagged.
Thank you, Honorable Minority Whip. Honorable members, indeed, Dr. Nyikal saw me this morning and wanted to raise a motion of adjournment on the doctor's strike. I later learned that last week there was a similar attempt to move a motion of adjournment, which motion had not been approved by the office of the Speaker. And upon receiving Dr. Nyikal's motion and consultation with the management of the House, that's the House Business Committee, we learned that tomorrow the Minister for Health will be coming to Parliament to answer questions at question time. Secondly, there is a question that relates to the same subject that Dr. Nyikal wanted to move a motion of adjournment, a very wide question. Thirdly, we had already approved to have a motion of adjournment by the Honorable Korere and Kinjuri for today. In my mind, instead of approving Honorable Nyikal's motion that may come tomorrow or day after, I will indulge the whole House tomorrow at question time for at least up to an hour for you to interrogate the Minister on the same issue. And you may very well achieve a lot more than what you would have achieved in a motion of adjournment. And I believe Dr. Nyikal has been communicated to this effect, and he will get the first bite of joyriders on the question when it is asked tomorrow. Next order. Yes, who? Yes, on the same issue? Today you very effectively prosecuted this subject in the House Business Committee.
Yes, today I was representing the minority leader, who I believe is still a majority leader until the court decides otherwise. But, Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for capturing the spirit of the House. But away from the issue of the doctor strike or any other issue that come on the floor, the point that we are protecting is our space as members of this House. Because a motion of adjournment is very special to us. It is special to us because that is where we exercise our representative mandate on this House. And even though we are not able to resolve anything on that motion, but it gives us an opportunity to ventilate freely on issues. When a minister comes to the House, the minister is coming because we are having an oversight role over him or her. That may be so. But the space and the special space of this adjournment motion must never be clouded under issues of politics or the issues of the day. Because, Mr. Speaker, in your absence, a temporary speaker made a decision, which you are now aware, that when proceedings are taking place either in committee or some other place in the presence of Parliament, that the plenary is unable to interrogate and discuss those issues. We just want you to preserve the standing order and our space to ventilate openly, even if we don't resolve anything. That opportunity in itself is so sacred to us, and this is the issue that we present to you on the sacredness of that standing order to a member of Parliament, whether this side or the other side, on any issue that we think should be addressed. Thank you.
I hear you. Honorable Koech, I understand you did not properly give your notice of motion. Can you go ahead now?
Honorable Speaker, my apologies. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give the notice of the following motion, that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations in its report on the vetting of the nominees for the appointment as High Commissioners, Ambassadors, Permanent Representatives and Consul Generals, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 16th April 2024, and pursuant to provisions of Article 132E of the Constitution, Section 22 of the Foreign Service Act 2021, and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, this House approves the appointments of the following persons as High Commissioners, Permanent Representatives, and Ambassadors. I will have them in cluster. High Commissioners: Ms. Catherine Kirumba Karemo, London, United Kingdom. Honorable Joash Mahangi as High Commissioner, Kampala, Uganda. Honorable Lilian Tomitom as High Commissioner, Lusaka, Zambia. Ms. Caroline Kamende Daudi as High Commissioner, Ottawa, Canada. Lieutenant General Peter Mbogo Njiru as High Commissioner, Islamabad, Pakistan. Ambassadors: Honorable Frederick Otieno Outa, Cairo, Egypt. Professor Anne Kisaka Nangulu, Dakar, Senegal. Mr. Timothy Kaluma Mcharo, Algiers, Algeria. Honorable Christopher Andrew Langat, Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. Mr. Jessica Mudhoni Gakinya, Rabat, Morocco. Honorable Alima Yusuf Mucheke, The Hague, Netherlands. Mr. David Kiplangat Kerich, Washington, D.C., USA. Ms. Evelyn Mwenda Karisa, Havana, Cuba. Dr. Peter Mutuku Madhuki, Moscow, Russia. Ambassador Moi Lemoshira, Tokyo, Japan. Mr. Kenneth Milimo Nganga, Abu Dhabi, UAE. Lieutenant General John Amwangi, Tehran, Iran. Mr. Abdi Aden Koryo, Muscat, Oman. Permanent Representatives: Ms. Gertrude N. Angote, United Nations Environment Program, UNEP. Ms. Grace Atieno Okara, United Nations Habitat. Dr. Fancy Tor, Ambassador and Permanent Representative, Geneva. Mr. Kitala Erastus Locale, United Nations, New York. Consuls General: Mr. Ezra Chiloba, Los Angeles, USA. Mr. Aden Mohammed, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Mr. David Iboko Lokemer, Dubai, UAE. and 2, that rejects the appointment of Mr. Charles Givinji Keiru as Consul General, Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo, and 3, resolves that henceforth consuls generals should undergo vetting after their nomination by appointing authority, and that the appointing authority recalls the serving consuls general not vetted for the vetting and approval by the National Assembly. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Koech. Honorable members, as we go to order number 8, allow me to rearrange the business on the order paper a little. Let's do order number 9, 10, and 11 being first reading. Then we come back to order number 8 for the mover to reply on the motion on NGCDF Vihiga County. Clerk. Yeah? Okay, but do we have any? Call out the order number 7 first.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
We don't have any. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security, to respond to a statement requested by the member for Kitutu Masaba. Honorable Russell, is the member for Kitutu Masaba present? Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to respond to statement on the delayed release of autopsy report of the late Inspector Walter Nyamato. Honorable Speaker, the member for Kitutu Masaba constituency, Honorable Clive Gisaro, has sought for a statement regarding the delayed release of autopsy report of the late Inspector Walter Nyamato. The honorable member particularly sought to be informed, 1, under what circumstance did National Police Service dispatch officers from the Kenya Police Service, including the late Inspector Walter Nyamato, to the Republic of Haiti despite a High Court order barring the government from deploying Kenya Police Service officers to the said nation? 2, why it has taken inordinately long for the autopsy report of the late Inspector of Police Walter Nyamato to be released to the family? 3rd, when should the family expect to receive the autopsy report and have the body of their loved one repatriated for a decent send-off and in order to find a closure on the loss of their loved one? Mr. Speaker, I wish to report as follows. 1, under what circumstance did National Police Service dispatch officers from the Kenya Police Service, including the late Inspector Walter Nyamato, to the Republic of Haiti, despite a High Court order barring the government from deploying Kenya police officers to the said nation? Honorable Speaker, the late Chief Inspector of Police, personal number 2008-070-300, Walter Nyamato, was employed on 4th April 2008 as an administration police service officer and has been in active service until his unfortunate demise. Honorable Speaker, the High Court ruling dated 26 January 2024 laid out the procedure that the government of Kenya should engage regarding any interest of deploying National Police Service personnel in any foreign country. Pursuant to the court ruling, the late officer was among the team of Kenyan officers who traveled to Washington, D.C., USA, for a consultative meeting on the process to be undertaken in ensuring strict conformity with the legal requirement prior to such deployment. Therefore, the late officer was neither traveling to Haiti as alleged, nor did the National Police Service deploy any advance team to Haiti as purported. I wish to table copies of airplane ticket.
Thank you, Honorable Raso. Clive?
Honorable Speaker, it is continuing.
Okay.
Why it has taken inordinately long time for the autopsy report. Honorable Speaker, the late officer died in a foreign country, United States, which prompted the need to establish the cause of his unfortunate death before the body could be flown back to Kenya. Upon completion of the autopsy, the report shall be given to the family in conformity with the Kenyan laws and on the right of privacy. The family of the late shall be given the medical report without arbitrarily being deprived of the same as guaranteed by Article 31 of the Constitution. This shall be done in a manner to ensure that authority releasing such information does not contravene the family's fundamental rights under the Constitution, which guarantees their inherent dignity. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the honorable member asked when should the family expect to receive the autopsy report and have the body of their loved one. Mr. Speaker, the body of the late officer arrived in the country on 7th March 2024 and was received by the family in the company of senior officers in the National Police Service. He was laid to rest on 15 March 2024 at his home in Nyamira County. The autopsy report shall be availed to the family once received from the U.S. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Raso. Clive, do you have any issue with the statement which you requested?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. However, I may not be very much satisfied with some of the responses given. On the first item, they have tried to answer the question of the mission in which Officer Nyamato was involved in. Yes, he was not destined to Haiti, but the discussion and the agenda of his trip had to